Coming to you live from Angkasa Puri, I'm Shuhaida Arifin and this is News at 10. Making the headlines tonight. Emergency aid announced for Baling flood victims. $32 kilograms of shabu seized in Sabah waters. The bodies of 3 family members who were reported missing in the floods and water surge phenomenon that hit Kampung Iboi Kumpang in Baling yesterday were found by the rescue team at 9:30 a.m. and 11:55 a.m. today. Salmah Mat Akib, 53, and her daughter-in-law, Nurul Anis Abu Hassan, 23, who was 4 months pregnant, were found embracing each other under a pile of logs. Kedah Fire and Rescue Department JBPM Director, Senior Assistant Fire Commissioner Sakyani Saidon said at Kampung Iboi that the bodies were found about 100 metres from their house, which was washed away by floods. She said the body of the third victim, Khairul Ikhwan Nur Azman, 14, who was Salma's son, was found not far from the location where the 2 bodies were found earlier. She added that the bodies were handed over to the police for further action. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob has ordered the National Disaster Management Agency NADMA and the relevant local authorities to provide immediate aid and assistance to the victims of flood in Baling. Even though he is now in Turkey for a 4-day official visit, the Premier said he was always following the development of the flood situation affecting the Malaysian families in Baling. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri has instructed his political secretary, Datuk Muhammad Anwar Muhammad Yunus, to check on the situation and ensure that aid and assistance were provided to the victims as soon as possible. In a posting on Facebook today, the Prime Minister also expressed sadness over the floods, which has so far claimed 3 lives, and prayed that all victims would stay strong in facing this difficult situation. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also said that the federal government will provide emergency assistance totaling 500,000 ringgit to the 112 households affected by the floods in Baling. In a statement, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said he was instructed Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali, the Chief Secretary to the government, to coordinate immediate assistance to all the victims involved. According to the Prime Minister, each household will receive 1,000 ringgit in Bantuan Wang Ihsan BWI, 2,500 ringgit for basic necessities, 500 ringgit for electrical appliances, and an unspecified allocation for home repairs. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said his political secretary, together with the Implementation Coordination Unit ICU and NADMA, had also presented BWI to all households today, including 10,000 ringgit each to the next of kin of the 3 people killed in the floods. He said most of the houses were damaged in the disaster, while 25 houses were reported to have completed destroyed. The Premier added that he already directed the relevant government agencies to identify the damage and the repairs needed to ensure the flood victims would have comfortable places of shelter after this. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob arrived in Istanbul today for a 4-day official visit to Turkey at the invitation of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The special aircraft carrying the Prime Minister and his delegation touched down at the Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen International Airport is here at 8:40 a.m. local time or 1:40 p.m. Malaysia time. On hand to welcome the Premier at the airport, which is owned and managed by Malaysia Airports Holding Berhad, were Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah and Malaysian Ambassador to Turkey, Sazali Mustafa Kamal. Also present were the Governor of Sabiha Gökçen International Airport, Halil Afsar, MAHB Chairman Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir, and government officials from both countries. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri then toured the passenger terminal of the 6th busiest airport in Europe. Earlier, he was briefed on the operations and growth potential of ISIA by Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri and Managing Director Datuk Iskandar Mizal. In 2021, the airport's total passenger numbers reached 25 million, which was 70% of the pre-COVID-19 pandemic figure. It was ranked as Europe's second fastest recovering airport last year. Izmir is the second largest airport in Turkey and is the world's busiest single runway with flights to 110 destinations in 49 countries. In 2021, the airport became the first airport in the world to use an innovative remote control system for passenger boarding bridges that enables the docking and undocking process of passenger flights to be done remotely through cameras and high-precision sensors. Malaysia and Lembaga Tabung Haji's success in developing the most proper and up-to-date management system for every Hajj season is worthy of being praised and appreciated. According to Saudi Arabian Minister of Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Taufik Fauzan Al-Rabiah, it was only right that other countries learn the strategies undertaken by Malaysia in preparing and educating its pilgrim prior to performing the fifth pillar of Islam.
That they do Hajj in a proper way, and usually they are safe, and especially making Hajj is not easy. It's hot, it's dry, and with the ihram it's not easy to move around. So the proper training also help to make sure that they know what to do in Hajj, where to move, where to go. This is definitely a good example to be followed. Thank you.
The Saudi Arabian minister said this after meeting with Minister in Prime Minister's Department, Religious Affairs Datuk Idris Ahmad at the Grand Hajj Symposium in Mecca. Dr. Taufik Fauzan also said that early preparations and training during a series of focus courses organised by TH had helped Malaysian pilgrims to perform Hajj easily despite the many expected challenges while in Ihram. Meanwhile, Datuk Idris said the praise by Saudi Arabia on Tabung Haji's efficiency in handling the Hajj operation is very meaningful for Malaysia. He attributed the agency's record of excellence to continuous efforts that were made to further improve the process and close cooperation between its staff and Malaysian pilgrims.
Daripada sebelum Ramadan, kami datang di seminar haji di Jeddah pun juga disebut secara terbuka di program yang lebih besar daripada sini, dan juga mereka lepas itu datang jumpa dengan wakil-wakil kepada kita untuk mereka nak menjalinkan hubungan dan nak belajar macam mana pengurusan tabung haji yang agak dinamik sebenarnya.
Padi farmers will be the first group to benefit from the Agro-Food Insurance and Takaful scheme, which is being finalised for implementation. Agriculture and Food Industries Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ronald Kiandi said the proposed scheme was now being fine-tuned, including on the issue of premium rates and types of coverage to be provided.
Pihak Agrobank yang dipertanggungjawabkan untuk menerajui aspirasi untuk mewujudkan crop insurance ini sedang membuat yang terbaik untuk mempercepatkan pelaksanaan skim insurans pertanian tanaman bagi negara kita. I think we plan to have it as soon as possible. Dan dalam proses akhir saya dipahamkan ia melibatkan berbagai agensi, MOF, Bank Negara, it's not us alone, bukan kementerian saya, melibatkan kementerian yang lain. So ada syarat-syarat yang ketat untuk memastikan bahawa skim ini adalah satu skim yang akan memberi manfaat kepada pemain industri.
On 10 February, Datuk Seri Dr. Ronald announced the scheme, which among others is to provide income protection to farmers whose crops are damaged by disasters or diseases. Afraid of being caught, a boat skipper was seen throwing something into the waters of Indra Sabah in Tawau, which was later found to be a bag containing 32 kilograms of shabu, estimated to be worth 1.76 million ringgit. Tawau MMEA Director Maritime Captain Shahrizan Rahman said when the bag was recovered in the 11:30 p.m. incident yesterday, it was found containing 32 packages with the Guan Ying Wang herbal tea label, with each with 1 kilogram of shabu.
Semasa dihampiri, bot terbabit bertindak memecut laju, cuba melarikan diri menuju ke perairan muara Sungai Indra Sabah. Semasa kejadian, terdapat kejadian kejar buru suspek. Kelihatan juragan bot bertindak membuang sesuatu yang didapati seperti bungkusan yang tidak dapat dipastikan. Berikutan keadaan yang sangat gelap.
Captain Sharizan said they believe the drug was processed in Malaysia for the Indonesian market, adding that the drug seizure was the largest by the Tawau Maritime Zone. Still to come, Proton unveils new high-tech engine assembly line. Stay tuned. The Public Service Department JPA has stressed that studies are still being made on the proposed implementation of a 4-day working week. Director General of Public Service Datuk Seri Muhammad Syafiq Abdullah said, although some countries have begun trialling a 4-day working week, the approach should be viewed holistically, especially in terms of its suitability and effectiveness towards the public service structure in the country. In a statement, he said JPA is also aware of the impact of the implementation of any new policy on the public service delivery system, especially when the government is in the process of reviving the country's economy for the well-being of Keluarga Malaysia. Last week, Datuk Seri Muhammad Syafiq said JPA had set up a special team to study the implementation of a 4-day working week following a request for a thorough analysis from various parties. Following the announcement, Congress of Unions of Employees in the Public Service QPAX President Datuk Adnan Mat yesterday was reported as saying that Malaysia was not ready just yet for a 4-day working week, as there were other pending matters involving workers' welfare and salaries that have yet to be resolved by the government and employers. Datuk Seri Muhammad Syafiq said JPA took note of the views of QPAX and various parties on the implementation of a 4-day working week and was always open for stakeholders to provide their input so that an empirical and feasibility study on the proposal can be conducted. The East Coast Economic Region Development Council ECERDC and the Terengganu State Government, in collaboration with the Malaysian Investment Development Authority MIDA, aim to secure potential investments estimated at 5 billion ringgit from South Korea. In a statement, ECERDC said these investments are expected from South Korea's leading firms in petrochemicals, specialty chemicals and advanced materials, with the potential for new manufacturing plants being constructed in Terengganu. Terengganu State Committee for Trade, Industry, Regional Development and Administration Wellbeing Chairman Tengku Datuk Hassan Tengku Omar and ECERDC Chief Executive Officer Datuk Bazawi Cik Mat were in South Korea from 25th June to 2nd July, leading an investment mission to promote ECER as the preferred investment destination for potential Korean investors. The delegates also had business development meetings with other potential subsectors involved in biotechnology, renewable energy, and information and communications technology services. South Korea is one of Malaysia's largest trading partners, with trade between both countries totaling 79.78 billion ringgit in 2020. National car maker Proton Holdings Berhad has unveiled its new high-tech engine assembly line that is capable to produce the 1.5 turbo gasoline direct injection TGDI engines for the local and export markets. Located at Proton, Tanjung Malim's engine and powertrain facility at part of the 1.8 billion ringgit earmarked by Proton to upgrade its facilities at Tanjung Malim, Perak. The assembly line covers an area of 18,000 square meters and has a current maximum capacity of 180,000 engines when running on 3 shifts. Deputy Chief Executive Officer Roslan Abdullah said the new engine assembly line showcased the company's commitment in keeping its promises to its stakeholders.
sasaran kita enjin ni bukan setakat untuk Malaysia sajalah, untuk pasaran ekspor. Buat masa sekarang pun kita memacu juga pasaran ekspor kepada macam contoh Pakistan, dan ada juga yang kepada, kita tengok pada pasaran di Kenya contohnya, di South Africa. Ini adalah negara-negara yang kita fokus buat masa, dan ada lagi negara-negara lain yang kita masih lagi dalam peringkat perbincangan.
Featuring 88 stations comprised of 17 automatic, 15 semi-automatic and 56 manual stations, the 1.5 TGDI assembly line was built using an Industrial Revolution 4.0 ethos, featuring a high level of automation to boost productivity. The plant also deploys Internet of Things (IoT) technology in the shape of intensive data capture and analysis tools to ensure quality meets the standards required. Prime Minister Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob today called on the international community to work together by adopting the spirit of the world family in facing global challenges, especially during the post-pandemic. He said the COVID-19 pandemic had taught all countries that the current global challenges could not be tackled alone or in silos. Speaking at the opening of the 35th Asia Pacific Roundtable via a pre-recorded video today, he said the world economy and politics were currently facing a complex post-pandemic situation, apart from the increasing competition between the world's major powers.
Cabaran yang dihadapi hari ini sebenarnya bukanlah baharu. Malah dalam keasyikan mengejar pertumbuhan ekonomi, kita kadang-kala terleka untuk memberikan perhatian terhadap banyak perkara berkaitan permasalahan global. Disebabkan itu, kita terpaksa berdepan dengan masalah-masalah yang sudah menjadi semakin kompleks dan sukar untuk ditangani. Ini seharusnya menjadi ingatan kepada penggubal dasar tentang pentingnya kita menguruskan segera cabaran yang boleh mengakibatkan kesan buruk kepada generasi akan datang.
Hence, he said it is paramount for the world community to intensify efforts and preparations in the face of uncertainty and work together towards a more peaceful, progressive, inclusive and prosperous future. Terengganu FC TFC will be wary of the threat posed by Kedah Darul Aman KDAFC's two imports when they clash in the FA Cup second round at Stadium Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin tomorrow. TFC coach Nafuzi Zain said KDA's towering imported players Ronald Ngawanja and Mahmud Mardi were lethal in their finishing. He reminded his players to stay focused and avoid making mistakes, as even a minor slip could prove costly. Nafuzi also urged Terengganu fans to turn out in full force to support the home team. Despite acknowledging having home advantage is no guarantee of success against a strong team like Kedah, he said TFC is hoping to work on their magic touch tomorrow. He said the Turtles have not decided on their first 11 yet, although some regulars have been ruled out. He said he may have to rest goalkeeper Rahadiazli Rahalim as he hurt his shoulders, and right back Azam Azmi Murad is also carrying injuries. The national squad need to sharpen their attack when they take on Indonesia in the 2022 Women's ASEAN Football Federation AFF Championship tomorrow. Head coach Jacob Joseph said the Malayan Tigress could not afford to be firing blanks again if their Group A match in Manila, the Philippines, following their goalless draw with Singapore yesterday. The national squad had also failed to find the net in two friendlies ahead of the tournament, losing 0-6 and drawing 0-0 with Bangladesh in Dhaka recently.
We must get a point. These two teams, Singapore and Indonesia, at least we must get a point. Other game with Thailand or Australia and Philippines. They already qualified for the World Cup and their player is very good. And then we know already that we will play more defensive. I mean, this chance with Indonesia, I hope our Malaysia team will get at least 3 points.
Jacob admitted that Indonesia looked well prepared against Thailand yesterday despite losing 0-4. He added that Indonesia showed great fighting spirit and teamwork, something that Malayan Tigers could emulate. After playing Indonesia, Malaysia will meet the Philippines on Friday, the most crowned team, and 2019 runners-up Thailand on Sunday, and Australia on 12 July. All right, so that's it from us this evening. Wrapping up news at 10 with a reminder of our top story. Emergency aid announced for Baling flood victims. Join us for more updates at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. Till then, I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Stay tuned to Saluan Berita RTM.